Hi, I'm Jason Klass at the 2019 Denver Fly Fishing Show, and with me is Karin Miller. Karin is the founder and owner of Tenkara, one of the more interesting Tenkara companies in the U.S. And so, Karin, I know it's been a busy few days, and you mentioned to me earlier that Friday was really busy, a lot of sales, and I've heard that in general, the show has been pretty active for Tenkara this year. So I was wondering, can you tell me what kinds of rods are people looking for? What are they buying the most, and what kind of application are they using them for?
Well, what I found this year at the show is it seems like we have people who are interested in the far ends, both ends of the spectrum of Tenkara. We had tons of customers that were, looking for our small little, high mountain backpacking Suzumi rod, literally sold out of that rod. And then we had customers who were just the opposite, who were looking for, I'm going to Africa, I'm going to India, I'm going to Colombia, I'm going for this crazy species. What would I need to do, and what rod do I need for this job? So it's been really interesting that we haven't had a lot of people interested in that sort of middle typical section.
The more all-purpose.
Yeah,
rod.
it's the far ends.
That's interesting. And do you think that's just because maybe there's a shift in Tenkara right now where people have already gone down that road of having their multi-purpose equipment, and maybe now they're getting a little bit more into the specialty stuff? Why do you think that is?
I think so. I mean, just the entire interest in Tenkara has just grown, and I think people are so much more open to applying it to a variety of situations now, and they're kind of becoming more adventurous and stepping outside of the lines and saying, yeah, okay, that does sound fun, or oh my gosh, bass on a Tenkara rod, what? I thought that could be cool. I want to try it.
Cool, yeah.
So,
One interesting thing, well, you're doing a lot of innovations, things that other companies just aren't doing, and one of the things I wanted to see if you could talk about real quick was your interchangeable tips. So I know that all of your rods use essentially the same tip,
yep.
And you can, in some of your rods, you can get actually what you call performance tips. So that you can switch out the standard tip with. So could you just tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so Tenkara is simple, and we want to keep it simple, but we still want to be innovative. And so we have designed our rods, so as you said, all of our rods, whether it's our 3-weight or our 8-weight rod, all the tips are the same. So if you own more than one Zen rod and you want to grab a tip, or you break a tip, or you just are going somewhere and you want extra tips, you can cipher tips off of your other rods and throw them in your case and you're ready to go. But we've designed a performance tip that is also interchangeable in all our rods, and that tip is a faster action tip. And so if you are someplace where the wind is just howling and you just want to be able to get that line out there a little bit better, or you are throwing a heavier setup or nymphing, you can simply switch out your tip section and get a completely different action. Or it's just personal preference. Some people like a slower action, softer rod. Some people like a rod that's a little bit faster. Our newest rod that's going to be coming out this early spring is a nymphing rod. And what really excites me about this rod is that it is designed for going under, throwing heavier setups, streamers, that type of thing. But it will be packaged with our standard tip. And so when you take out your nymphing tip or heavy streamer tip and you put in the standard tip that goes in all our other rods, all of a sudden you have this awesome dry fly rod that throws the tiniest flies with precision and delicacy. And then you can still customize that rod by putting in a performance tip if you want it to be somewhere in the middle of those.
So that's interesting. So you can not only kind of dial in your own personal preference for action, but you can actually also just dial in for that specific situation.
Yeah, so I mean, whether it's little, 20-inch dries all of a sudden, that are hatching around you or something, and you're like, oh my gosh, you just simply pull out your tip and take off your big streamer, and you're ready to now throw real delicate patterns. So it's like I said, we're very excited about that. We're the only company doing that, and it as I said, the rod performs beautifully with each of those tips, so it's kind of cool.
Yeah, that is cool. Well, thanks for taking a few minutes with me, Karin. Always good to see you, and I'm looking forward to seeing what Zen comes out with next.
All right, we're always thinking. Got the monkeys going.
Okay.